Hello and welcome to the North Bank podcast. I'm your host Holly and I'm joined by Stef. Today's show is going to be looking back at the Chelsea game and looking ahead to the Brighton game. However, before we get into the nuts and bolts of those, I want to throw 4 questions out for the listeners and viewers to consider for themselves, but also the questions that myself and Stef will tackle as we plough through the next hour or so. So the first question is, after yesterday's game, is: are you enjoying the Premier League season so far? And I asked that from an Arsenal perspective, and particularly with a nod to the last 10 minutes yesterday, which, I don't know, everybody around where we sat said, I hate football. At various points, I'm not enjoying this. I don't like it. I'm going to take up crocheting or whatever it was they were saying. So that's question number 1. Are you enjoying the Premier League season so far? I'm specifying the Premier League season so far. Second question is: who has been our most important player this season, and why is it David Raya? Okay, I'm not leading you there, obviously, but anyway. The third question, and I think we have to kind of acknowledge this because of what's been going on in the previous 24 hours. Now, just for context, we're recording this on Monday evening, so the game took place yesterday afternoon. This probably will go out on Tuesday morning, and so a little bit dated, but we're recording Monday evening. It's all about the wider narrative. Question 3 is about the wider narrative. The boring, worst league of the ever, set piece and all that. Is that wider narrative? Are you really enjoying the saltiness of it, or is it grating a little bit? So we'll have a little kind of explore through that. And question number 4 is: what iconic moment occurred on this day 24 years ago? So the 2nd of March in 2002, we're recording on a Monday evening. What iconic moment occurred on this day 24 years ago? All shall be revealed as we go. No need to check Wikipedia or Google search or anything like that. Anyway, I've rambled on a little bit. Stef, hello, sir.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, lots to say.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on in the last sort of 24 hours, Arsenal-wise. It was the most unwinning victory, it felt like, in a long time. Loads of people coming away feeling like we'd dropped points.
Yeah,
and we actually won the game. It was so weird.
I think it was just the exhaustion of that last 10 minutes. So, look, okay, stressful. So, you know, we had a wobble. We drew away at Brentford. We drew away at Wolves, both times from winning positions. We did go ahead against Brentford, didn't we?
Yeah.
I can't remember. It blocks it out of my mind. And then we went to Spurs and won convincingly, and we beat Chelsea. And apart from Manchester City, and looking at the last final 10 games of the season, Chelsea are the highest placed opposition we face apart from Manchester City. And we won the game 2-1. And I think we deserve... I know there's some weird takeaways occurring, but I actually think on the balance of 90 minutes, we deserved to win the game. I don't know if the stats back me out on that, but the feeling was at the time... Now, don't get me wrong, that last 10, 15 minutes was, from Pedro Neto's red card, pretty much. I've got a very unflattering statistic for that one, but you know, we've kind of steadied the ship. Man City aren't tearing teams apart. They're getting their own nervy 1-goal wins in their games, and we are as well. The narrative seems to be slightly different, couched in a different kind of phrasing or framing rather for them as it is for us, but we're still 5 points clear and they've got a game in hand, so it's as you were. We keep that going and we'll be fine. The stats for the game yesterday: we only had 41% possession. They had 59%. We had 12 shots. They had 9 shots, 5 on target for us, 3 on target for them. Our XGs were pretty comparable, 1.1 XG for both teams. Again, I mean, my view now is very much job done. Like, you know, I don't think we'll carry the last 15, 20 minutes into the next game. I think, you know, clean slate, fresh game, fresh legs, hopefully in some scenario, in some positions. But how are you feeling 24 hours after the game?
Yeah, the same. Still a little bit of a lingering weird doubt over the way we seem to approach the game following Chelsea's red card. But the thing I particularly remember, and it was sort of causing me more consternation at half time, was the fact that we were so dominant in the first half and yet we're still 1-1, to the point where I ended up taking a picture of the stats on the scoreboard at half time, because Chelsea had 0 shots on target but managed to get a goal because Nkapie had glanced one in from a Chelsea corner. I mean, a Chelsea set piece, no less, that were causing us issues pretty much all day. So it was a good performance from us in large parts that we just again couldn't tell on the scoreboard and show that dominance. So yeah, first half good. Second half, you were a little bit sleepy. Didn't come out the traps. I think as intensely enough as I would have liked. And all props to Chelsea. I think they definitely made an improvement in the second half. We're taking the game to us a little bit more, but we managed to, get a second goal, and the disappointing thing was just how we seemed, not even necessarily to retreat, but that I did see a couple of stats about our completed passes.
Yeah, I've got that one. Do you want that one?
Go on then.
Passes completed between Neto's red card and the final whistle. Arsenal 55, Chelsea 114.
Yeah, we just were not careful with the ball enough. Granted, Chelsea were going to put us under a little bit of pressure, but we've got to have players who need to be press resistant, and we need to find a way out of that to some extent. You can understand it if maybe Raya is forced to then go long after a period where we recycle the ball and it doesn't really go anywhere. You run the risk of losing it if you do go long. But those players in central midfield have got to take a little bit of responsibility. That said, we said at various times in the second half that Zubimendi looked knackered, Rice looked particularly knackered and is now looking like he might have an injury. But Eze especially, that's someone, foot on the ball, looking after it, passes, dribbling past people. Yeah, we just got to be a bit more careful with that.
Norgard came on to help get us control. Do you know how many completed passes he had in 20 minutes?
Not enough.
2.
Oh, bloody hell.
So it wasn't an individual player, it was a collective.
Oh, absolutely.
The guy in front of us at the game made an interesting point. He said,
Cameron.
Is that Cameron? Right.
That's Cameron.
As soon as Gyökeres comes off, we've got no forward impetus at all. We drop. And that, he came off on the 76th minute.
Yeah.
And so there's no target. We've got Havertz, he will always naturally drop deep. We don't have that focal point at the sharp point of the attack, and so maybe that had something to do with it as well. And
that's not to big up Gyökeres' game, because he wasn't overly spectacular yesterday against a difficult Chelsea side. But like you say, when Cameron said that, it did sort of ring true in the sense that, like a ship that cuts through the water, when you have that sort of central point to sort of aim at, it did drive us forward a little bit more. Players could be a little bit more direct in the way they funneled the ball forward. When Havertz came on, I noticed one period of play where he sort of drifted wide right, won the ball in the air, managed to take the ball down. He had the touch, he had the control, and his general play was pretty positive when he came on. But like you say, after that, where does the build-up go in the second phase? Because there's now basically no one's occupying the Chelsea fullback, so you're kind of having to go back, horseshoe of death kind of stuff. And we weren't managing the ball just well enough to do that.
We did score from 2 set pieces, and that kind of obviously sparks this whole renewed narrative of, set piece. Previous 12 goals we scored in the Premier League had nothing to do with corners, but the narrative went a little bit quiet then, didn't it? Now, we have got some great stats. We've scored 16 goals from corners this season, which is a now joint record with Oldham from 92-93, West Brom from 16-17, and us from 23-24. And we've still got 9 games to go to get that record for ourselves, which I really do want. But the thing about these corners, grappling aside, and we'll talk about, because I was very surprised to hear the real force with which a lot of Chelsea fans were complaining about the referee, because I thought the referee was bloody awful. But I thought he was bloody awful in the sheer volume of times he disrupted the fluidity and momentum of the game itself by like 4 times he stopped us from breaking, and twice he issued yellow cards. The second one, the most crucial one, the second yellow card for Neto. So I was really surprised. So we'll talk about the grappling in a minute because it's ridiculous. Delivery, incredible. The Saka delivery, the sheer determination for Gabriel to fight, contend, battle with, and totally defeat Reece James to get to that header, to head it back for Saliba. Wow. Like, these are impressive. Okay, it's not a 30-yard top corner thunderbolt, but both of those skills on a football pitch are equally valuable and impressive in different ways. The set-piece delivery, I mean, I thought he'd overcooked it completely, and that's in front of us. I'm thought, where the hell is this going? I'm going to catch it, and I'm like way like row 5 over to the side a little bit, and it was like perfect. And I thought, wow. And the header, and obviously Saliba just about got enough on it to ensure that the defender couldn't get it out, and it went past Sanchez. Yeah, so what's your... Yeah, well, we're talking about the court set-piece ole narrative?
I didn't really want to talk about this because it's so tiresome. And I just want to point out, as I've posted out on our socials this evening, but if anyone wants to follow us, at North Bank Pod, BlueSky, mainly Threads, Instagram, TikTok, all the rest of it. This is not new. This is old stuff. You said about Oldham, 1992. I'll go back further. I'll talk about George Graham and the back four and the Arsenal, boring Arsenal, 1-0 to the Arsenal. You tell me, here's a question. What was the Arsenal corner kick routine with George Graham and the famous back four? Bold and Adams.
Flick on.
One of them runs to the near post, flicks it on, and the other one gets it. That's a set-piece routine that they would try and hit. Okay, because you get double bubble, you might be able to nick it in at the near post, but if you can flick it on, you make the opposition kind of second guess, and you can maybe sort of nod it in. None of this is new. And in terms of controversy, there's also a trend. When teams are good, it's up to the rest of the world to try and find a problem with it, to try and stop it. Okay. Now, I've been guilty of, in the past, of accusing very good winning teams of, being a problem, and not just in football. When Schumacher was winning all his F1 titles, boring. Because he was just
Steve Davis in the snooker.
In the snooker. Stephen Hendry in the snooker. Pete Sampras in the tennis. Roger Federer in the tennis. When someone is really, really, really good and they keep winning, it gets boring. Now, Arsenal haven't got the titles, don't get me wrong. I'm not bigging up our part or anything like that, but we are winning the games this season, and this is a thread that's sort of bringing up this season. But it has happened in football as well. So, in 1992, when we had the Euros, and this is ironic given that Peter Schmeichel was a touchside reporter for, I think, one of the international Premier League feeds, and was talking about how it's not enjoyable to watch Arsenal do that. Well, Denmark, when they won the Euros, were cited as one of the main reasons that they were going to scrap the back pass rule, because Denmark would do what they needed to do to maybe get in front or play for the draw, and then just pass it back to Schmeichel, who would wait, pick up the ball, and then they'd recycle possession again because it slowed the game down. And I'm all for evolution of the sport in order to try and maybe speed it up. But like you say, yesterday, way more concerned with the fact the referee kept stopping the game. Because, again, an incident would happen, and we all know a good referee, go back and book someone if you need to. You just let the game flow. And several times he stopped and, fussed about with what he did. Didn't even always book the player. That was stopping us. Also, should be said, Chelsea's corner routines had us rattled a bit. Like, they were good. They did a classic thing. I was getting a bit annoyed because we were falling for it every time. 2 Chelsea players would look like they're going to come short. 2 Arsenal players would obviously come and mark them. Those 2 Chelsea players would then run into the box. Our Arsenal players would follow them. It would create a bit of a scrum type sort of situation. Lots of bodies in a small area. You take your chances, and in the panic, Nketiah scores an own goal. David Raya flapped at 1 or 2 early, but then grew in confidence sort of later on. Other teams, it's like an arms race, isn't it? Basically, who can get there first and make those differentials count? Well, Arsenal have got there ahead in terms of the set pieces. Other teams are catching up. Saturday alone, Liverpool did, 4? In the game, in the 5-2 against West Ham. And I saw a headline on the BBC that said, deadly set ball.
Back to normal for Liverpool.
Back to normal for Liverpool. And then the Arsenal, it's like, ugly football.
Ugly or beautiful.
I mean, it's just ridiculous the way it's reported. And look, we're Arsenal fans. We're biased. We know that. And this is an Arsenal podcast. If there is anyone that even vaguely supports another team that is listening to this, you'll probably just think we're whinging about it. But it's just there. I saw a really funny thing earlier. Shay Gunner on TikTok were picking up on the fact that Sky Sports, on the Arsenal game coverage, they had Yaya Toure and Paddy Vieira in the studio. And the graphic on the screen, they bring up their name and then some stuff they've won and stuff they've achieved. Yaya Toure, 3 Premier League titles. Patrick Vieira, over 300 games and 46 goals for Arsenal. Wait a minute.
That's not...
Patrick Vieira won 3 Premier League titles as well. The disrespect is just like, I hope it's unconscious, because if not, it's just sinister. Anyway, I love it because there's more than one way to win a game. I used to get really frustrated when Arsenal were soft and didn't work out these routines and didn't try and get advantages from different situations. And now that we do, along with the other stuff as well, by the way, what was it, a run of 12 goals, all from open play in the previous games? Yeah, let's not talk about that. I love it. We win games in different ways. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. And if it wins as a title, even better.
It just means we're relevant again, because everybody's talking about us.
And it happens, it's not even just like this style of football that everyone's criticising at the moment. You go back to when Spain were winning the Euros and the World Cup. Boring football. Death by 1,000 passes.
Death, yeah.
Barca, and therefore Pep Guardiola's. I was looking earlier because I just wanted to check that there were things reporting it. I found an article from 2016 where Samuel Umtiti, I think his name was, who was at Barca, said playing for Barca was boring as shit. Was his quote under Pep, and he says, I was so delighted, I'm going to go to play for Barcelona, and then it was just keep the ball. Just keep the ball for as long as possible till you can get like Messi in a bit of space or something.
Pretty much every Mourinho team has been criticised for its negativity and all the money he's spent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It goes in cycles. At the moment, we're the good team. We've got the target on our back. Bring it on. And that's not to say, the Pep Barcelona team and the Spain Euros team, they're the best teams that have probably ever graced football because they're so dominant and would kill games. Like, you have to respect it. Did I fully enjoy and get excited watching it? No, because what I enjoy is like at the weekend when Brentford played Burnley. And, a team go 3-0 up and then the other team claw it back to 3-3 and then there's disallowed goals and then there's winners and it's all chaos and narrative and that's what I like. But, as a purist...
Do you think Barca fans or Spain fans give a flying monkeys about...
Not on your Nelly. Do you think George Graham gave a toss when he was winning titles with Arsenal after, 20-odd years without a title?
1-0 to the Arsenal.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
We sang with pride.
Done. Yeah, love it.
Okay. Are you enjoying this Premier League run at the moment?
I am, but there are moments in games, and it's recency bias because, the last 15 minutes against Chelsea yesterday, I could have killed someone. There's no getting away from it, and mainly myself probably at some point because it was just so stressful. And it's because it matters so much. It's just because it matters so much. We love this team. We want them to get over the line, and the margins are so fine. And especially, I will be scarred by that Wolves game for quite a while. The cold and the wet and the worst 45 minutes of our season so far all go towards making that pretty
so
dark.
my Wolves game is actually Sunderland away. Probably because I was there.
It matters. It matters when you're there. Yeah.
And I still think that's it's not my Crystal Palace, my Brighton moment from the previous year. It's not my Fulham moment from the season before that. It didn't feel at the time. It was disappointing. It was like, oh,
but not terminal. Yeah.
No, it didn't feel like that, and it hasn't transpired that way either so far, at least. Who has been? This is my second question. We've actually cut. This is the third question, but the second I gave at the start. Who has been our most important player this season, and why is it David Raya?
I've no idea, but he is just so class. It's unbelievable. You know, over the whole season, he's barely put a foot wrong. There was the stupid throw out against Brentford, in which he was a bit jittery, but otherwise, there's very little to complain about.
I didn't watch the whole game again, but I did watch the 9-minute highlight reel on Match of the Day, ignoring the commentary on it. I didn't realise that. I didn't realise about a Declan Rice handball, and if I'm being honest, I'd be a little bit annoyed if we didn't get that down the other end of the pitch. But his save from that is ridiculous as well. But if you look at that incident in isolation, if they're talking about the handball from Declan Rice or the way he was grappling with whichever player it was that he was challenging with, then one of the Chelsea players has both their arms around David Raya, but he doesn't complain about it. He fights it off and he gets this hand out of nowhere to the ball. Now, from that corner, they then do score their equaliser. So it's much of a muchness. Chelsea fans getting their knickers in a twist over that. You scored like that. You would have scored the penalty, fine, or you actually scored from the ensuing corner. The punch he made, I don't know whose head it was. Oh, João Pedro it was right in front of us. Do you remember that? And I'm like,
that was nothing.
He got the ball. I was waiting for the uproar for the Chelsea player who actually
dragging him onto the pitch to delay the game even more. Yeah. No, that was nothing.
But the save he made from Garnacho's kind of cross shot type of thing, I mean, that was the 91st, second minute, something like that, I think, because that was before the disallowed goal.
Yes.
So that save from there, that was, I think, was it Arteta said, my heart stopped, and it was David Raya's hands that restarted it, or something like that. Because from the dugout, he'd have been behind behind that, so he'd have a perfect angle on that. We couldn't, because it was down our end, but we couldn't judge the distances. It's only when I saw the replay, I thought, wow, that's a 3-point saving save, that is. The offside goal, I was there with my daughter, and we were stood in front of you as we normally are. And as that play developed, I had my hands on her shoulders, and it was tense. I mean, it was really tense. It was horrific. It was awful. It was genuinely, why am I here? Why am I doing this to myself kind of territory? But I said to her, as when Pedro got was it a bicycle kick he did, and that Ryan made a fantastic save? I said offside straight away. I said offside, and then Delap put it in, and then straight to the ref's assistant. Flag went up straight away. But then there's always that now with VAR. There's always that. Well, maybe I just didn't. But it looked to me so obvious.
Yes. But
you never, because we're behind the goal. We can't see the lines or anything. But
so the fact that we were all fairly confident, kind of said it all.
But apparently, and I refuse to listen to this, Gary Neville on Sky commentary, again, why is he doing it? But anyway, he said something about, he was trying to create drama, suspense, by saying he thinks it's onside. He's not so sure it's off. So I don't know what he did. I'd love to. I haven't deliberately, because I don't want to give the guy any more oxygen than I already do. But I'm just curious as to what his reaction was once he saw the replay, because it was like he was yards offside. Well, he probably wasn't yards offside, but he was. There was a lot of daylight between him and the back line. But so thank you, David Raya. I thought that was. And okay, my question is a little bit in jest, but I think he's up there with most important player of the season. I genuinely think he's. If I was to vote now, Gabriel, Raya.
Yeah, I think in just because what what's showing for Raya is those clutch moments. And it's interesting, just to relate it to the set pieces thing again, Arsenal's routine is for players to start outside of the 6-yard box and move in. You might have one player, I know Ben White used to play the kind of keeper blocker role and do all that kind of stuff, and there wasn't nearly the level of outrage when he was doing that, when actually that is ridiculous. Trying to take the goalkeeper's gloves off.
Unhooking the gloves.
Exactly, that's just mental. So we tend to do that kind of spread out and then focus in, whereas just in the last couple of weeks, Chelsea's thing was to really overload the near post, lots of bodies into that sort of concentrated area. And then there was the completely unrelated game, which still sparked a lot of people relating it to Arsenal, when Man United were away at Everton, where almost all 22 players on the pitch, even the opposition goalkeeper at one point, no, that's a joke, that's an extreme thing, but everyone literally just piled into the 6-yard box. Now that's not really corner routine, that is just trying to stifle what's going on. So if your delivery's good enough, you kind of hoping there's a ricochet or something in there as well. It's and the fact that Raya will fight that and command his area,
and he's not the biggest either.
He's not, no, but he tries to fight on that kind of nimbleness and guile and strength to move people out of the way, and will claim a ball all the time. His reliability on catching is something I really, really appreciate. And
well, he came from Brentford, didn't he? And that's when they had the long throw, the set piece coaches there at Brentford as well. And so he would have had a really solid grounding in dealing with that and coping with that.
Absolutely.
And he is very athletic and very agile.
Yeah. One thing I've liked in the last couple of weeks, although it didn't really quite work against Brentford, obviously, is that since Arteta's comments about the fun boat and all that kind of thing, they're slightly out of sequence, but he is trying to distribute more quicker from when he can gather the ball as well. I've certainly noticed that in the last few games. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. I've written down the word attritional to describe the game, because I think that best describes it. It wasn't a free-flowing football festival. There you go. Off the cuff.
No, but there were moments when both teams broke. One thing that annoyed me ever so slightly about Arsenal, probably particularly more in the first half, was how quickly on occasion Chelsea could go from back to front. If they were able to intercept a ball, they were quite direct in trying to feed, whether it was Palmer or Neto on the other side, and João Pedro's quite lively as well. So they were able to transition, quite quickly, but never really amounted to anything in the first half, as 0 shots on target would amount to. So those moments were there in the game. It's just people tend to choose to ignore them because all the incidents essentially came from set pieces. And people have got short memories. Sorry, we're going to keep talking about it. I remember a really turgid period, like you mentioned earlier with Mourinho, when it was Mourinho, Benitez, Wenger and Ferguson. Those top 4 battles were all dull as dishwater because the teams would just cancel each other out because they're all too afraid to lose rather than sort of go win it. And none of them, trying to find those marginal gains in other areas like set pieces or whatever it might be wasn't maybe as focused as it probably is now, that's all. But yeah, those were not exciting games. People are misremembering that period with a bit of nostalgia.
The glory years.
Yeah, as if.
But part of a consequence of that attrition was the Chelsea ill-discipline. And Pedro Neto's first yellow card was for dissent. And I've seen quite a few Chelsea fans claim that he didn't see the yellow card being brandished, and his first reaction when he got the second yellow card was the finger one, and that's my first yellow. What are you talking about? So there is an argument there, because there's someone who went into a lot of detail, different camera angles, and said at no point has he seen the referee brandish the yellow card, and his first reaction is when he got the second yellow, when he got the yellow and then the red, he was he put his finger out that. And that's why he was apoplectic. And he didn't want to, and he see him attacking the fourth official, not physically, but verbally attacking the fourth official when he came round. He was doing it again, one. It was my first yellow. But there's another angle where he's looking straight at the referee as he's got the yellow card in his hand. So I'm like, I don't know if I buy that. But his reaction is pretty consistently aligned with, this is my first yellow. But if that's the case, then that's bloody hilarious. That's all I have to say about that. It was a deserved second yellow. And again, I didn't realise referee could have allowed advantage.
Oh, God.
Because we had a great opportunity, like 2-on-1.
Yeah.
And
he did it all game.
Score the goal and then give him the second yellow and send him off.
Honestly,
that is the game. That is the game done. 3-1 up, 10 against 10 men. That is the game done.
I just don't understand all the rhetoric about speeding up the game. Yeah. It seems like a basic. I kept sort of saying, does this ref know about advantage? Like, does he know that is a thing? Because he doesn't seem to be aware that advantage kind of works. It was just bizarre. And there were a couple of occasions where it went both ways. You know.
Yeah, he's just crap. I don't think he was biased. He's just crap.
Yeah.
And again, like they're bringing VAR in for even more disruption. You talk about momentum killing and so on. I mean, is it time limits on corners and throw-ins?
Yeah. Can't wait for
like this. It's like let's win the league this year, so we don't have to suffer next year with all this other noise coming in. Anyway,
so there's another rule as well. I saw a Rory Talks video where he's talking about how they're trialling it. Pre-World Cup tournament, the idea that VAR will also have a look at whether or not who should have been awarded a corner, to try and avoid the injustice of a team getting awarded a corner they shouldn't have had and scoring from it. And at the moment, the Premier League going, nah, we're not all right. And Rory does a very good video where he talks about how he knows how this plays out, where the Premier League go, no, not good enough for us, not good enough for us. And then what happens is you get 2 or 3 occasions where exactly the thing it's designed to try and prevent happens, and the Premier League have to roll back and then faff about trying to implement it, not implement it, and then it takes another year on top of that, just like semi-automated offside, which now everyone just goes, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. And Sanchez, it looked to us like from Eze's lob from the halfway line, it looked like the ball went out, and it did go out by about a yard, but the linesman wasn't up with play and gave a goal kick.
I didn't even re-look at that.
We should have had a corner.
Can I just talk about Robert Sanchez?
Yes.
Because in recent weeks, there's been a little bit of a kind of rewriting history, saying maybe he's not as bad as we think. He was dreadful.
Awful.
Dreadful. Just so nervous with his feet. All he was doing was creating panic in that back line at Chelsea.
And we didn't take advantage of that enough.
We did not. And that was what was so frustrating in that first half as well, because boy, should we have taken advantage of that and broken their spirit. Because he is just a liability for a team that has pretensions of being in the Champions League every year. And for the money that they have spent, it is pure negligence that he remains. I mean, we say that with the view that we've just bigged up David Raya, a player who, when we signed, we were all going, really? Is it that much of an improvement? And boy, was it, because the margins for keepers is so great. In terms of the impact they can have on their back four and the mistakes that they can make, that actually it does matter. And Sanchez was just, I'd be a bag of nerves if I was a Chelsea fan watching that game yesterday with him, and then knowing that we can have red cards on top of that. It's just you're just sacrificing yourself all the time.
Yeah, the weird thing was, I'd heard nothing but Chelsea fans in the lead up to the game trying to claim that Sanchez was a better goalkeeper than David Raya.
I mean, it's just nonsense.
I'm like, well, not on the evidence of that game. I mean, Raya's on for his 3rd consecutive Golden Glove award. No, it's not there yet. And they were talking about, if you put Sanchez in front behind the Arsenal back four, he'd be really good. I'm like, well, no, not on the evidence of yesterday's game, and not on the evidence of every other time I've seen him play football, and that's predominantly been just against us. I don't watch Chelsea games unless I absolutely have to. Yeah, I love the stat that LinkedIn Liam has only lost 3 of his first 13 games as Chelsea manager, all against Arteta. I mean, beautiful. I think that's brilliant. I love it. And I do like the LinkedIn Liam aspect of it. So
Well,
you said, go on,
sorry,
sorry.
I was just going to say, I posted a little clip, which was sort of ripped off from Sky Sports, where it's as Neto is getting his red card, Sky Sports beautifully cut to LinkedIn Liam, and he's got his 4-colour ballpoint pen. His eyebrows do a little raise as if to say, yeah, well, I expected that.
Yeah, all part of the plan.
It's such a okay, like trying to play it down. And I just think he must be so angry inside, as if to say, "Oh, you've done it again. What are you doing, guys?" And it's just
because he had said prior to the Burnley game, was it whichever game they played last, Burnley? He said prior, we've sorted out the disciplinary problems we've had. Next 2 games, red card each game. Pretty much cost them points in both games. Well, you could argue that. Again, I'm glad they were down to 10 men because we did not look secure with 10 men. So don't know how that would have played out had they had the full complement. You said you're enjoying the Premier League games so far. It depends on the moment you ask me, I guess, as to what my response is, because I'm not going to look at the Brighton game just yet. We will in a minute. I'm not looking forward to the Brighton game, so no. I'm not enjoying the Premier League run so far. However, only 3 games in the next 40 days are in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So, and the other games are more fun.
Should be.
So that's a like kind of an easing of the heart pressure, perhaps. And the next 4 games we've got in the Premier League are all games in which we dropped points last season.
Oh, don't tell me that.
So, no, it's an opportunity to get... this is what Arteta's good at.
Yeah.
Okay? So, no, this is a good thing, Steph. This is a good thing.
Brighton
away, last year we drew. Everton home, last year we drew. Bournemouth at home, we lost last year. And I'm pretty sure that was just before the PSG game or something like that. And we the league was gone. We'd written it off. And then City away, we drew last year. 2-2, that famous 97th minute equaliser for John Stones, wasn't it?
Trossard.
Yes. So there are our next 4 league games, and with an opportunity to make up for... And Arteta's good at using that as a motivational tool, and so I trust him to do that again. And the other thing to kind of calm the nerves perhaps a little bit is we have played... Yesterday was our 53rd game of the season. Now, considering United are playing 40 games all season, right? Yesterday was our 53rd... I can't resist it, come on.
Well played, sir.
There's no United fan watching this 35 minutes in, so I think I'm safe. And don't clip it and put it out there so I can get abused.
Definitely clipping it.
Oh, great. Yesterday was our 53rd game of the season, and we have only lost 3 of them.
That's crazy.
We're doing okay.
We're doing better than okay.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Exactly. But it's like yesterday. I agree. Somehow it felt like we dropped points, and I don't understand that we did. The atmosphere. I must say, can I just say again? I thought the atmosphere was absolutely superb yesterday. Yes. I thought it was really good from start to finish. And I think that it was very much... Okay, the referee provided a very useful lightning rod for the fans, as did a couple of the Chelsea players, in particular Caicedo, who should not have finished that game on the pitch. I don't know, did he even get a yellow card?
He got 1. He did get a yellow card.
Well, he should have had about 3 or 4.
Sure.
It's the guy, he's not a footballer when he plays against Arsenal.
Reece James is a piece of work as well. He's a better footballer, don't get me wrong.
He's a great footballer, his delivery, but we had him rattled. He was having a go at Trossard, and then he was having a go at who's the other player in the first half. Like, he was just having a go. It's like in his head. And then Chelsea were pretty bang average in that first half as well. We should have been maximised our kind of dominance a little bit more. And not that you'd know that from the match of the day highlights, by the way.
Sure.
It was like, that's not a reflection of the game that I was at. But anyway, so I decided I'm not going to listen to any, the only thing, and I have a lot of time for Shay Given, largely because I went to uni with his brother, and I did meet him when he was 18 years old and a reserve goalkeeper at Celtic. But I cannot listen to him now talk about Arsenal on Match of the Day. If he's on Match of the Day, I can't. He's just so negative about Arsenal. He's like clearly smarting after we beat Villa 4-0 in the FA Cup final, and he was on the receiving end of that. Don't clip that either, please. Don't clip it. Anyway, I'll have everybody on my case. But yeah, okay, so look, we can talk about the team when we look at the Brighton game in a minute, but my fourth question was, what iconic moment took place this day 24 years ago? So the 2nd of March, 2002. Iconic Arsenal footballing moment.
Too early to win the league.
Yep.
I don't think it would have been the League Cup final.
Nope. I'll give you a clue. It has nothing to do with winning a trophy. It is an individual iconic moment. The most iconic moment almost from one of the most iconic Arsenal footballers of recent times.
Was it the Bergkamp goal?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was the Bergkamp Newcastle goal.
Well, you don't have to say anything. You just say the Bergkamp goal.
Yeah, the Bergkamp goal. Although I have a more favoured Bergkamp goal.
Okay.
It's the hat trick goal against Leicester.
Oh, so ball over his shoulder.
Yeah, which he then pretty much replicated in the last minute of the World Cup quarter-final for Holland against
Argentina,
which is one of the few international goals. Yeah,
98.
Which is one of the few international goals that has had me running around the room in sheer delight. Another one being David O'Leary's penalty for the Republic of Ireland in Italia 90 or whatever it was. Italia 90, yeah.
Bergkamp was a genius on the pitch, and it's why. Look, my favourite player growing up would always be Wrighty, just because he played with a smile on his face and he was, a real character. But like the best player, Bergkamp. I mean, Henry. Look, Henry was a force of nature. An absolute athlete when it came to the way he played, and I liked his chutzpah every now and again. But Bergkamp's control, that the fact that his biography, what was it called? Stillness and Speed. Like, he's just graceful. The only player I've ever had the name on the back of my shirt as well, because he's just amazing.
All the world class Arsenal players we had in and around that time, when asked who the best player they've ever played with is, they to a man say Dennis Bergkamp. People don't realise at the time, maybe not, or maybe don't remember, or whatever. Henry used to get a lot of stick, a lot of pelters from the terraces. And that's how good he was. And when we'd often say, I'd turn at me and Dan and we'd say, do you know what? There'll come a day when we'll think how lucky we were to see him. And here we are abusing him for not getting that third or fourth goal in a game. Like, missing chances. I mean, I got back to the Champions League final in 2006 for my...
I mean, all the strikers get it. I mean, Haaland's even had moments where people have kind of like, how has he missed that and this, that and the other. He's even been criticised as, not being a very good footballer or whatever. And it's
he's almost top of the assist chart as well now.
I know, he's a goal machine.
He's kind of, laying the lie to that.
But do you remember when Bergkamp first signed? How many games was it?
Oh, he was, waste of money.
Waste of money. That's just, and people are impatient, and that impatience has been accelerated in the era of
social media.
Social media, absolutely.
I've got one more alarming observation to share with everybody before we talk about Brighton at last. He says, Martin Ødegaard's dad. Do you know what he does?
No.
He is the manager of Lillestrøm in Norway.
Okay.
He took over Lillestrøm in Norway in January 2005.
Right.
2025, sorry, 2025. He's managed 40 games. They've won 35 and drawn 5. He's undefeated as manager of Lillestrøm. They've been promoted, and I sit to be corrected by any Norwegians we have out there. They've just been promoted into the top division, which kicks off at some point soon. But that's not the alarming or disturbing thing I learned when I somehow happened across this stat. I don't know where I got this from. He's younger than me.
What?
Yes.
Well, yeah, Odegaard's what, 24?
No, he's older than that, isn't he? He's 26, 27.
Okay.
His dad is older than me.
How old is
Younger
Dad?
than me. Younger than me.
How old is Dad?
He's not born in 1974. I'm absolutely devastated by this.
He's 10 years older than me.
That's not helping, Steph. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, that's the thing. Like, me and Arteta are contemporaries. You know what I mean? It's a different world.
Thanks. Back in my day. Anyway, Brighton on Wednesday.
Well, can I just say one more thing about the Chelsea game?
Yes.
Because before the Chelsea game, we all meet outside Block 6.
Oh, yes.
And Block 5 in the concourse. And for the second time, one of our loyal listeners, he is now the head of our Holland branch from Utrecht. I'd like to say hello to Roger Voller, who came over and said hello, and was in great spirits. I mean, fair play to him. He says he comes over for about a dozen times a year from the Netherlands to watch the Arsenal as a silver member, gets his tickets in the ballot. But he said a great thing because we were chatting about the United Strand guy with his hair. And you should know that Roger Voller, hello Roger, he's really tall. He's also really bald. So he said, if Arsenal win the league, he's going to grow his hair.
There you go. Follically
so hello,
challenged.
Roger. It was great to see you, and keep up the good work. Oh, one thing he did say that I found really intriguing. He said in Holland, they don't have a football podcast like culture. Like football fans in Holland don't listen to podcasts, and there are no club podcasts like we're doing an Arsenal podcast, Utrecht or Ajax. I mean, there might be the odd one, but he says compared to what we have over here,
which is mad because they're such a passionate,
very passionate
footballing
fan
nation.
base.
Yeah,
hugely. You think of how iconic the national team is as well. Yeah, it's crazy. But so fair play. Thank you for listening.
Whereas we're like dime a dozen. Arsenal
yes,
podcasts.
I mean, we are the 450 millionth Arsenal podcast.
There is a
start
podcast out there called Not Another Arsenal Podcast, isn't there?
There is.
Yeah. Okay, Brighton on Wednesday. The game that before the Chelsea game kicked off, I was more concerned about, just because of Brentford and Wolves away, I guess. And Brighton have done the dirty on us a few times. Declan Rice red card at the Emirates last season, for example. And they were on a pretty dismal run, but they've won their last two games. They won at Brentford and then they beat Forest. They won 2-0 at Brentford and they beat Forest 2-1. I think all three goals were in the first 15, 16 minutes. But I don't like them. I don't like their manager. I like Brighton as a football club. I have no issue with Brighton as a football club, but I just don't like their manager. I think he's a...
Hurzeler. Yeah.
And, they've got... Danny Welbeck started. James Milner started. Against Forest.
Lewis Dunk
has played like about 850 games for them. It's like how do they keep beating us or keep taking points off us? I don't understand it.
Because I think it's like a lot of other clubs, and the fan bases feed into it as well, that there probably is an extra few percent that they can get out of themselves, buoyed on by the fans, because it's Arsenal. I don't know. I'm not even saying that arrogantly. I don't like it, but it's true. The atmosphere at Wolves, I'm sure, compared to other games, because I've seen the odd Wolves game. A good friend of mine is a Wolves fan. I've seen quite a bit of Wolves this season for some reason, and there was much extra spice in the stands, and it must feed into the players a little bit. Brentford was the same. They couldn't wait to take points off us, and Brighton are the same. So. Yeah.
But we did draw there last season, so Arteta will use that and garner a comfortable 5-0 victory as a
unjustly as well.
Oh, was that a penalty?
Penalty was shocking.
You've never seen anything like it since either.
Nope.
How are you feeling about it?
Oh, disgusting, because I was at that Brighton game, and not only were we absolutely appalled at the penalty decision, our minibus broke down on the way home just as basically the skies dumped a whole load of snow on the roads. And so we were at, I can't even remember what services it was. around the M23 where we were stuck in the snow and had to get taxis to come and collect us and take us home, and the roads were incredibly dicey, and I may have got home as the sun was rising the following day. It was atrocious, and it was all let down because we had such a lovely start to the day, because we went to a village kind of just outside Brighton, and we went for afternoon tea at this very like quirky
that
little
serves
place.
you right for trying to play middle class.
It was amazing. What are you trying to play middle class? We're Arsenal. We are. So, yeah, it was, such a shame.
So
yeah.
Are you going on Wednesday?
No, it's a school night. Can't go on Wednesday.
So there you go. We'll
probably win.
Yeah. That's what I was checking, just to make sure that, the stars are aligned against you. Forgot, have you got Chris's
Yeah, I
thoughts?
do. I just realised actually myself when you said that, because what he said about Chelsea, sorry to roll it back, we almost conspired to throw it away with a very, very nervy ending after Neto's red. Again, an indication that the pressure is being felt. Raya save crucial, a pacey game that should have suited us, but too many cheap turnovers and weak final decision making. Big Vic was as frustrating yesterday as he was impressive v Spurs. So, to ring it round to Brighton, hopefully, if he's having one on and one off, this will be a Big Vic on. Of course, Brighton is his former club for Victor Gyökeres, so
right.
Maybe he has a point or two to prove. I don't think he did anything at Brighton. I don't think he did.
Well, Liam Rosenior coached him there.
Did he?
That's what I learned from LinkedIn, Liam.
I didn't know that. Was it on Liam's LinkedIn, was it?
It was, yeah, I checked it. We've connected.
That 60-goal season, Liam Rosenior's taking full credit.
It's what he learned
He
there
planted
at
the
Brighton.
seed in Brighton 2-3 clubs ago.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. I found the team selection quite difficult for this game.
Well, I did. Can I read Chris's out? Because I think Chris has based it on basically just picking a team and hasn't factored in some injury stuff that's going on.
Yeah, go on.
So he's gone Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Nkapie. Midfield 3, Zubi and Rice with Eze in the 10. And then a front 3, Saka, Gyökeres, but he's gone Martinelli. I've had to make a couple of extra changes in there because I'm not sure that Rice will be fit. I just don't think he will. So, and I realise my autocorrect changed one of the names. Back 5, so Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Nkapie, no problem with that. Midfield 3, I've gone Eze, Norgard, Zubimendi. And then a front 3 of Madueke, Gyökeres and Trossard. But Trossard is actually a massive question mark, isn't he? I'm not sure about how fit he is. But yeah,
I thought he did okay yesterday in the link-up play, but his final ball is what let him down yesterday. That was my issue with Trossard yesterday. Yeah. But yeah, so I've got maybe a hybrid of those two teams.
Zubimendi was limping as well, wasn't he?
I want Timber, Rice, Zubimendi. No, sorry, I've written down Timber, Rice, Zubimendi all need resting. Now, I know we've got Mansfield in the Cup on Saturday, so they will not play until the Leverkusen game in the following midweek. So they have another week off. So you could, Arteta would probably argue that. I know Timber scored the winner, and he's probably one of the few players that would actually get that goal. It was strength and bravery to get there as well.
Yeah.
But during yesterday's game, I was crying out for Mosquera to come on and replace Timber, just to give us a little bit of freshness. Zubimendi was limping heavily before Rice went off, and Rice was looking to go off. Rice could have come off like 15 minutes before he did come off. Yeah. And the fact that he asked to come off, I mean, I don't like that. I don't like that. It's for two reasons. One, it must be bad, but like, it's not. It shouldn't be his decision. He was struggling before that. We saw him did he put the ball out for a corner?
Yeah, there was one he was chasing back, and the way he he touched the ball, he sort of jarred his leg a bit, and he winced, and it was like if you can't see that as a coach from the sidelines, you've got to be observing your players so much, surely.
So, I mean, I've gone for Raya in goal, and I've put down Mosquera, Saliba, Gabriel, Nkapie. Now, I think he'll play Timber, but I think that would be a mistake. I think, give Timber 10 days off and play him against Leverkusen, fine. Mosquera can play Wednesday and Saturday against Mansfield. I've got the same midfield 3 as you, Zubimendi, Norgard and Eze. just on the basis that Rice. I was convinced it was Norgard was coming on for Zubimendi, but it turned out it was Rice. So just on that basis, I mean, I don't know who else could we play there. Lewis Skelly's a bit away to Brighton's not the game to put Lewis Skelly into the midfield position.
I don't want to experiment too much.
No, and the front three I've got that I think he'll start with Saka, Gyökeres and Martinelli. So Saka and Eze being closer to Gyökeres to give him that kind of I don't know, support, I guess. But I put in brackets Madueke, Jesus, Trossard. Like it's, I don't know. It's any 3 from 6. Yeah. I think Jesus not getting on. Oh, do you know what? I've ignored Havertz. Oh crap. Yeah, Havertz won't start, but he'll probably come. He'll probably come on. Anyway, right. What's Chris's scoreline? A nod to Chris as well, actually. He predicted a nervy 2-1 win against Chelsea, and that's what he got. So I've asked Chris to write down emphatic 5-0 win on Wednesday, and he has written...
nervy 2-1 win.
Thanks, Chris. I give you the big build-up.
Oh, the more things change. Yeah.
I've also gone 2-1.
You've gone 2-1?
Yeah, I did 3-1 again for Chelsea, but I'm going 2-1 now.
Okay.
Just to reflect my slightly heightened nervousness ahead of this game compared to the Chelsea game.
Yeah. Good for you.
And you said 2-2 against Chelsea, so,
Last year, at home, we played Brighton and we drew 1-1.
Yeah, we did.
Last year, away at Brighton, we drew 1-1.
Yeah, we did.
I'm saying 1-1.
I thought you should have said I'm saying 4-0 or something like that, just after that kind of lead-in.
No, 1-1.
1-1.
Sorry.
Normal, sir. I mean, I asked you, are you enjoying this Premier League run that we're on? You're now starting to predict draws again. So although you say you are enjoying it, I don't believe you. I'm not buying it because your predictions are painting a slightly different picture.
Yeah, but again, recency bias. We've just beaten Chelsea 2-1, and before that we beat Spurs 4-1. So, and I was there for both of them. I'm in a good mood.
So you're predicting 2 draws?
Yeah.
That's not a good mood.
I thought, well, my
justification didn't match the point.
You're expecting me to be a rational human being, and I'm sorry, that's on you. Because I am an idiot, and like anyone listening to this pod for more than like a couple of minutes will know I'm an idiot, and I'm far too emotional about these things. So after the Spurs game 4-1, I was like, well, after the Lord Mayor's show and we're playing Chelsea and Cole Palmer's going to play, I was like fearing the worst. I was just catastrophizing, and to be honest, I've been building up, regardless of anything else that's been going on, about this Brighton game for weeks, knowing that we're playing them midweek on telly, away from home, and just not looking forward to it. Like, this Brighton game could have come up at any point during any kind of winning run, and I would still probably predict a bloody draw, because we've had some rotten results against them. You know, they were responsible. They beat us 3-0 in that the all or nothing season when we were going for trying to get into the Champions League again, and there I am, Ramsdale collects the ball and I'm stood in the background with a face like thunder because we turned in one of the worst performances of the season just at the time when it mattered most.
Steph, relax, the stars are aligning for us this season, don't worry.
Bloody hope so.
Keep the faith.
Right.
Keep the faith. I'm out of it. I've got nothing left to say.
Okay.
Nothing left to give.
Well, I'll just finish with, I mean, obviously, look, drop wherever you listen, whether it's on Spotify, whether it's particularly on YouTube, give us a subscribe and a follow on YouTube. But drop into the comments. Holly's asked his 4 questions. Are we enjoying the season? Who's been our most important player? Why is it David Raya? Along with a few others. So, yeah, drop your comments in there. Give us a like, give us a review.
What is your most iconic moment from an Arsenal player.
I was going to say, what is your most iconic moment from 2002? Is what are you going to say then? But yeah, you can follow us on any of the socials at North Bank Pod, and just tell other Arsenal fans about us, because we've got a nice community on Patreon going. You can join on Patreon for free. Come and say hello, or like Roger Voller, our Utrecht representative, come and chat to us at the games and just give us a quick hello and best wishes, and thanks for listening. And I'll be chewing my nails off tomorrow.
Well, Wednesday we got two nights.
Oh yes,
yeah. Even longer. The torture's just been prolonged. Sorry about that.
Slowed down.
Anyway, cheers for the chat. Cheers for listening. Cheers for watching. Thank you very much. Have a great couple of days, and we'll catch up again with the. Oh, apologies for no instant reaction yesterday. But this is worth the wait, I'm sure. We'll do an instant reaction after the Brighton game on Wednesday. So, in the meantime, be good, be safe. See you next time. Bye-bye.
The North Bank, an Arsenal podcast. Subscribe, rate and review on your app, and find us on your socials at North Bank Pod. Email hello@thenorthbankafc.com and check out our website, thenorthbankafc.com. Produced by the Podcast Company.